Hi. Thank you for giving me your most precious asset, your time. I honor your presence and I ask that you come forth not just with your eyes and your ears, but also with your heart. So I light this candle to light the fire of love and light in your heart. This is it's Jesus because I love the guy, but it doesn't matter your faith. Um, Whatever your definition of God and source and the greater power, if you're an atheist, then it's the same. It all boils down to love, and that's we all are. So bring forth who you truly are and listen with your heart, because I have a message that needs to be heartfelt to bring awareness for the greater good of this world. So thank you for your time and your presence. I'm Ana Luisa Morambera, and I come here today to share with you my story and my greatest pain and the darkest of all darkness, in the hopes that it will become my brightest form of shining my light, and that is the pain and the suffering that I have endured. I choose to make it my greatest gift. I wouldn't be coming to you today proud and full of love if I had not lived the level of injustice and suffering that I have. It's because of my greatest pain I understand that there is a level of suffering in the world that has touched my heart and lit a desire to aid that suffering, that it's bigger than my life, it's bigger than life itself. It's a desire that it's stronger than anything that I can possibly describe in words, and that is to bring forth a sad truth of this world. Slavery is not gone, it is very much alive, and an underground thriving industry in every city, in every state, in every part of this world. And I have been a part of this world as a person. I don't like to use the word victim because I feel so further away from that. I feel today like a warrior of light. So I was someone who was subjected to being physically abused by a human trafficker who threatened me with information of my family, and I was in a mental state before that came into my life. I was suicidal, and I like to share my story to ask you to bring your heart and who you are without society's condition and beliefs that have been planted in you that judges women that have been in this industry. I call it industry because it's very much a thriving part of our everyday. And those who are wanting to reject what I have to say and are already rejecting me, I ask that you stay and that you listen, because I am sad and it's unfortunate to share the truth with you, but if you reject these women because you believe that they are family breakers, I'm sorry to inform you, but there's a really high chance that your husband, your father, or your son is an active supporter of this thriving industry as a client that chooses to pay to abuse women without acknowledging them as a human. So it's the CEOs, it's the doctor, it's the politicians, it's the Jewish guy who goes to synagogue and does Shabbat every Saturday, is the religious man that goes to church every Sunday, is the father of 4 kids who portrays to be a loving husband and a very good father. Those are the men who are supporting the slavery of women who, in the image of society, have been subjected to believe that they are the criminals. It's a far more serious form of slavery than what we used to subject colored people to. They were subjected to work and to be of service to the white privileged society, and that was acceptable. But they were never looked as criminal, as someone who is doing wrong. And because of their knowing of their rights, they were able to move mountains through inspiring people that led the path to human rights. And today we have a level of equality that we didn't have not long ago. But these women and children are subjected to a physical abuse that hurts their soul and deteriorates their being to a point that they don't want to be on their skin. I have felt that. It's a level of degradation that most people cannot comprehend, to be abused and devalued and treated like you are an object for a sick man pleasure, with no respect, and physical pain and mental abuse. But those women and those children cannot go to a doctor because in the eyes of society, they're criminals and they're not allowed because they're slaves, yet they so need the help of mental care and physical care through the level of abuse that they endure every day. So I come forth very proud to share my story because I know that I am not where I have been, but I have become who I am because of where I have been. And that is a woman who has suffered a ton and has experienced a level of suffering and understood that there's so many people in that position that has brought an immense amount of love and desire in my heart that I didn't believe it was that I was human, that it was humanly possible, and that I have an immense desire to devote my life into bringing awareness and going back to the valley, to the darkest of all places, to the women that are in immense pain and in the fire with buckets of water, and to grab their hand and walk them to the other side, because those women are worthy beings who have some at a young age subjected to believing that they are not worthy and that they have to accept that their life is for being abused. People that jumped out of the Twin Towers, they didn't want to kill themselves. They just believed that it was easier and less painful to have one hit of dying than to be burned in the fire in slow motion. Those women are burning in the fire and they don't feel that there's an open window for them to jump. So I'd like to open doors, gates, and I ask that those who have the ability to touch their heart and uh, understand the crisis that is being hidden, yet it's a thriving industry in every corner, and they have fixed locations thriving in every city. And I am eager and ready to share hundreds of thousands of locations that I have located and found in this country, from every state, from major cities. I have been passionately working on this for the last few years, and I'm very eager to share and reach out to the politicians of every state and to all authorities and ask them what they're going to do about it, because these human traffickers have a lease and they are working as a spa, as doing money laundry and thriving on having slaves. I ask that those who want to join peacefully in creating a path that may not happen on this lifetime, but maybe in the future, that wants to bring a level of meaning into their life for being part of bringing peace and justice and honoring all people. I ask that you come forth and join me on this mission, on this revolution. I am eager and I fear not. For me, I know that I may stand as one, but I come as 1,000. There is an army of angels behind me, and I will live until the source and the greater power that runs this globe will allow me. And I will fight for all those women fearlessly, and I will expose hundreds of thousands of men who have a thriving business by abusing women, proud and eager to speak up for those women who believe that they are not worthy of a voice. I have also gathered a list just as big of men who are active clients to expose not just the human traffickers, but those who portray to be good citizens, but are active supporters of human trafficking. I have been contacting women who are in those facilities and private escorts and prostitutes and women who have been subjected to being a slave since they were very young, and I have been rewarding them financially to give me a list of every man that they had to go through a what they call a checklist or a security process in which they find out their real name, so that way their client who's coming in will not cause any problem because they know who they are. So if they cause any problem to that facility or to that woman, it will be also reciprocated. So I'm eager to not only to share locations of human traffickers who have thriving business, but also the clients. So we bring awareness to who is partaking on this cruel. I don't have words to describe, and I judge not. I made peace with the man who threatened to hurt my family, and I made peace with where I was at the time. Before that happened, I was extremely suicidal, and I didn't. When you want to kill yourself, you don't have much self-love. So I made peace with the fact that I subjected myself to that, and I believed that there was no other option. And I'm not here to condemn anyone. I'm here to make justice. It's not about who will be exposed. It's not about the families that will be broken. It's not about the comfort of anyone. It's about justice and equal rights and fighting for women that need the most love. They are looked at it as just despicable beings, and that they want an easy way of making money, and that they're not worthy, and they're family breakers, and that couldn't be further from the truth. They are mental souls, beautiful people that have been subjected to believing that that's all they deserve. Mental illnesses should be treated just as a cancer tumor is. It's an invisible tumor, and it's slowly killing them. So those are the people that need the most love, to have felt that level of suffering. How can we not have compassion and a desire to honor them? It's not the easiest money to make. It's the hardest, most soul deteriorating form of earning money. It took me a very long time to feel worthy again. All the society belief had lashed into my body, and feeling comfortable under my own skin became something so far away I didn't believe it was possible. Until I made it my mission to become healthier and stronger and smarter and wiser, preparing myself to go back and help those who are lost. That got me through my journey, my healing journey. The only way that I can possibly make sense to the pain that I endured was because I was meant to end it. It ends with me, and real love begins. I am not what happened to me. I am a person who has suffered immensely, and suffered in ways that most people will never comprehend. I am a miracle to have come out of the fire and have only received pain. And instead of being bitter and wanting to give pain back, my only desire is to love. And I know that those women are just like me. I know them. I know their heart. I know their pain. I am one of them, and I am also on the other side, and I am this mission. It's beautiful, and I am really happy to have found my voice, and to have found my calling, and to bravely speak up for these women, and to speak to all of you in the hopes that I will gather some soldiers of light that wants to join me on this mission. And I am eager to share this list, and I know the consequences that it might happen. I am not afraid of threats. I'm not afraid to confront dangerous people. I am not afraid of dying. I look up to the greatest people that fought for human rights fearlessly. Martin Luther King had death threats almost every day, and he fought fearlessly because he focused on the love and on the goodness that he was bringing to this world. And that's what I want to do. my time will come, and whenever that comes, I will do even greater things on the other side. I am extremely excited to come forth, and I am excited to build an army of angels, and I hope that you will be one of them as we walk through this journey and create a revolution and a pathway for people that are suffering in ways that it's just not acceptable to my soul. I can't sleep at night. I can't function. I think about them all day, every day. And I know that you would too if you would just see reality for what it is. It took more than a minute for the white privileged society to see that subjecting other people to slavery was not human, and it was cruel. And it might take a minute. I don't care how long it takes, and it might not happen in my lifetime. I'm just eager to be the waymaker and to fight fearlessly and fervently for the greater good, knowing that God is with me and there's nothing to fear. There's only love to give. I come with peace. I have no desire to have hate or share hate. I just share love and the truth. The truth is painful and it's cruel, and a lot of people will be hurt. The list of male clients will probably break a lot of family and bring a lot of pain, but it's the truth. It's not about the consequences that their acts will bring to their life and their family. It's about the truth of honoring those who are not being acknowledged as human beings. My focus is on loving those who need love the most and showing you the reality in the hopes that you will too. I can't change the world by myself. One cannot do greater, massive change for the greater good, but together we can. We must not wait for the government to make things right. We must not wait for the government to end suffering. If we look at our structure of leadership, it is broken in pretty much every way. The corruption of big pharma and big food and taxation and the privileged rich people and the middle class and lower class, and how healthcare, everything is just broken, and it's not so much for the people, but it's for the benefit of those who are providing money for the leaders. And the same way that we cannot wait for the pyramid of food to change in order for us to take control of our health. It's this virus was one pandemic, but there's far more that we're not acknowledging. Our health crisis. The government does nothing for our awareness of what health really is. There's a pandemic of major chronic illnesses. This is the time in history that we are dying sooner than we ever did, when we are smarter and with higher technology than we ever did. This generation will die sooner than the one before. Heart disease, diabetes, chronic illnesses are taking over our population. And they are educating us and serving the kids in school foods that are cancer creation. They are making us ill and then feeding us with medication that only treats the symptoms and causes other deeper issues. The government we are the freedom country, yet we hold 1/4 of the incarcerated people in the world. We're gonna wait for the government to do what is right. We can't follow the law. We have to follow our values and what we believe to be right. We must not wait for election and for someone to come and change things. We must do it ourselves. Together, we are stronger than any leadership, than any government. Together, we can be the change that we seek. In this month of Pride, I'm inspired by this community that fought for their rights and stood strong, and they fought heavy battles in the beginning of their journey, and some of them, their greatest leaders, suffered a ton in the process. It's not how hard it's going to be, is how worth it is going to be. And I'm so proud and eager to stand for all those women and to share my story with an open heart, with the desire to not hate on anyone, but to just bring justice to this world. Everyone deserves rights. Those people that are illegally abusing those women, they have rights and they must be acknowledged as humans, but they must pay for their crime. It's time that we stop putting Hispanic and Black people in jail and we put the right people in jail. Those who are doing white collar crimes and creating a level of evilness in this world that must be stopped. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of the most dangerous people in this world. Most of them are drug dealers, and they run a level of illegal business that it's unspeakable. I am proud to serve my life and my being to this cause. I am not afraid to what may come. And I share with you my mission and this desire to start a movement before I will share the list, because my desire is to create a movement before I put myself in a position that I will have hundreds of thousands of enemies. Not because I fear what will come. I fear not. My time will be my time. I just know that this mission must start, and I will start with my heart and my ample desire to bring awareness and to show you a different view and to change how you see this hard truth. Those women are not the criminal. They are victims. They are mental ill people that needs support, that needs love. It's beyond just these women that are subjected to slavery. Women, we all at some point in our life have felt a threat and have been put in a situation where we were scared because a man was aggressive or abusive to us. Rape is only rising. We still are not paid as much as men. It's time that we stand strong for our rights, that we face men bravely, daring greatly, and standing up for our rights. You can wear whatever you want to wear and not feel that it's your fault that a man tried to abuse you. It's time that we show men that they must honor us the same way that we honor them. That humans are humans regardless of what color, of our shape, of our culture, of our sexual preference, of our gender, of if we are gay or queer or straight. Humans are humans. We should all have the same rights. Enough with the fucking privileges. It's not just the white privileges, it's men. They have been getting it so easy and so good for so long, and it's time that it stops. And I don't mean to condemn them. We are put on a condition in a society that makes the youth and the new generation fall into a broken set of beliefs. We can make the change, and the children that will be the next generation can have a greater awareness and an understanding that they must honor and respect women in the way that we all deserve. It is so profound and so engraved in us, even for the people that love me the most, from my parents, my mother, my sisters, the man who claimed to love me and wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. When I shared my story and my desire to speak up, I could see and feel their shame and their desire to stop me and their disapproval. And they love me the most. I have compassion and understanding for their ignorance. They're not bad people. They love me. They're trying to protect me. It's lack of knowing better. So it's time that we know better, that we become aware, that we must be the conscious society that brings awareness to what is right, not what we're taught. This goes way greater than women who are subjected to rape and slavery, wives and families and women who are being abused physically, mentally, and emotionally by men in every level. It's a vicious cycle that must end. I can never understand how the world runs. Since I was a child, I was in second grade, and I told my principal, I don't believe in the constitution of school. And I skipped school for the first time in my life with a girl known to be very dangerous because she wanted to create her own thing and do her own thing. And she was wild enough to not go to school. And I felt so strongly that the system was not for me. They said that the children must lead. And I was in art class, and my art teacher told me, whatever you draw is going to come to life. I drew a home, a sustainable house. I didn't know that that was even a thing, but I drew a home, a farm-like place that they would make their own food, and that the children that didn't have parents that was foster or out for adoption would live with the seniors that lives in senior centers and have no family. So the youth and the kids without parents would bring joy and life to the seniors, and the seniors would bring wisdom to the youth. And the homeless people would do the work and run the house, and together they would be a family. And the mutts from the streets and the cats from the streets would just glue the entire family. When I drew that, I felt so called to bring it to life that I told my art teacher I must speak to the head of the school. I have to go to the principal's office. This is very important. And she looked at me, she goes, go back to your seat. I was always a good girl, and I've always listened. And it felt that it was so important to my heart that I just ran out of class and I went to the principal's office. I just ran inside and I told her, I have answers. I come with solutions. And they didn't want to listen to me, and they dismissed me, and I was grounded. And they called my parents, and I was grounded at home. And the next day, I was staring at the gate of the school, and I didn't want to go in, and I didn't. I skipped school when I was in second grade, super young, terrified of being in the streets alone. But since I was that young, I understood that they said that the children must leave, but they were not cultivating the heart of the youth and bringing solutions to everything that is wrong in this world. It took me a minute to be that second grader and have the pure heart to believe that I can make the change. And that's why I am sharing my heart and my desire with you, to find special souls, to build an army of angels and fight for the greater good with love and kindness and peace, intelligently, not with the level of our head, but the level of our heart and soul. We will not fight. We will not cause more pain. The only way that we can pierce through wrong and injustice is through love. Our army, it's not with wars and guns and causing more pain. It must end with us. The only way that we can make real change is by being true love and shining our love so bright that it will touch the masses. So thank you for listening to my story and for hopefully sparking some light and hope for better days. It's so easy I am very sensitive, and I have always fought depression, and I've been a mental person to the point that I got kicked out of a mental hospital. I caused a revolution there. There was all these separate groups and this judgmental and this shame of being there, and this level of mistreatment towards the staff, to the ill people, especially the more serious ones, the schizophrenic, my favorite people. I was once diagnosed with schizophrenia. It turns out I had a tumor, and I was seeing Jesus and Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Mother Teresa, and then the doctor told me, once we remove the tumor, you're gonna stop seeing them. I was like, I think I want to keep the tumor. I really enjoy hanging out with Martin Luther King and learning from him, and he's preparing me for great things. He was like, you are not mentally, it's not a mental illness, it's not schizophrenia. I was like, I know, I'm just speaking to Jesus. Like, that's actually a thing. I'm speaking to the source. This mediumship and this spiritism is actually being respected now in ways that never has before. Mental people, they're not crazy. They are sensitive, and they don't relate to the world that teaches us to live without a heart. When I think about the level of pain and suffering that exists globally, it's so easy to feel hopeless. From the meat industry and how we subject animal and other living creatures to excruciating torture and abuse and killing the world through the climate change that the meat industry is bringing to us, to the garbage that we create in the ocean. No value and appreciation for what we have. I can never understand that. The moment I understood that meat was flesh and other living beings, I stopped eating it since I was a child. I don't understand the act of killing or harming something else, rather if it's a bee or another human, for my own pleasure. That's, I believe, what we were created to be. living creatures, respecting the ecosystem that the world needs to be in order to thrive. If we don't make changes that we become aware to respect all that is, we won't be here. Climate change is a serious thing. The next generation, the youth, the young children, your kids will not have a future. We are killing every living creation that was once here. Before the dinosaurs were extinct because of a natural disaster, we are being the disaster deliberately because we are choosing to not acknowledge everything that is wrong. We can't do that for much longer. There's a short period that we can make a change that will still be able to reverse and have humanity and living humans. And I believe it starts with touching your heart and feeling love for all that is. One problem at a time, we will face it and acknowledge the wrongness of how we deal with things. And together we can become more aware and respect and honor this world, this beauty, that it's a gift to honor the world and nature. It's not ours. We just live here. It will wipe us away if we don't start having a reverence for all that exists. Without a bee, we will not live. That's how important every living creature is. So let's start with loving each other and having equal rights and respecting every single living being and fixing the major problems like human trafficking and slavery. And little by little, we can do it all if we just touch our heart. Once you feel who you truly are, then everything else changes. You see the wrong and the right, and you naturally and instinctively and effortlessly do the right thing. Be love. So let's rise up and just focusing on being who we truly are. Love. And with that, we will change everything that is wrong in this world. And we will end slavery and hopefully reverse climate change and this crisis and all the epidemics and all that needs to be changed for the greater good and for our existence and for global peace and for love and for joy and for fulfillment in our time here, way greater than any career and any wealth and any money can ever bring you, than any family can ever give you. To be a honorable, loving human is the highest level of fulfillment. No partner, no husband, no child can give you that. Only you can. It starts with you. And it just takes being you. Thank you for all that heard me and for those who are not ready to welcome this mission and join us. I have compassion and love for you, and you are where you are. We can only start where we are, and I respect you and honor you, and we may disagree, but we will do it peacefully, with love, Gandhi style, with some Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, and Martin Luther King fever, peacefully, with a beautiful mission and with a beautiful heart. Love and light.